There are more than 1,000 islands in the St. Lawrence River. Their beauty and legends have fascinated people for centuries. They're best explored from the air or from the water. The countless chunks of rock are small miracles of nature. Thousand Islands is the name given to one of the most impressive regions in the north of the American continent, in the border region between the United States and Canada, in the middle of the St. Lawrence River. The small town of Gananoque lies at the heart of the Thousand Islands on the Canadian mainland. Susan Smith is on her way into town. She's an author and the publisher of the only online magazine in the region, The Thousand Islands Life. Susie's the unofficial chronicler of the island. She finds her stories everywhere. The small town with the First Nations name Gananoque, the town on two rivers, has a population of 5,000 and awoke out of hibernation a few weeks ago. Only a few shops are open all year round. One of them's the small restaurant owned by Ben Mukherjee, who wants to bring international cuisine to the town. Ben is scheduled to do an interview with Susie today. He's a chef who's worked for the Obamas.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Excellent.
I think you know that I'm the editor of the online magazine Thousand Islands Life.
Sure, yes.
And I really appreciate your letting me come and interview you today.
Absolutely.
And we'll put this in our July issue.
Excellent.
And my first question is, you're now here in Gananoque.
Yes.
How long have you been in the catering business and
Well,
chef?
it's been 26th year running.
The purpose of the magazine is for people in the United States to look across the river and say, what's over there?
Absolutely.
And come over here and try some of your takeout.
Absolutely.
And then for you to look on the other side of the river and say, I wonder what's in Clayton or in Alexandria Bay. Or,
Absolutely. It's so interesting. I have at least 15 families come from Clayton to here, while there's already 4 Indian restaurants there.
Yeah, that's terrific.
So, yeah.
That is great. When I say that I'm Susan Smith, nobody really knows. But if I say I'm Susan Smith, the editor of Thousand Island Life, then they all say, oh, I've read that. And that is really wonderful. That really makes me proud because there's so many people that put so much effort into the magazine. And that material is on there now 24/7 forever. And that's a great gift to the river. It's looking good.
During the summer months, Susie and her husband live in their cottage on Sagastaweka Island.
My husband keeps saying, you know, where's the paycheck? But we made the decision many years ago that it would not be a money-making magazine. We would not take advertising. As long as we can all do it as volunteers and something that we all like passionately, then let's just keep it that way.
Susie used to do fundraising for the universities of Ottawa and Kingston, but the Thousand Islands are her real passion. That's something she shares with all those who want to hear and read that.
There are local newspapers on both sides of the river. But if you don't live in those communities, you don't get to see those other newspapers. So you'll miss out on a lot. So we try to keep it both ways and get people to get more interested in learning what's on the other side of that river. What's over there I'm going to go and see.
Susie has written a book about the islands. She knows them all by name.
There's a passion to the river. For me, it's a passion of the history. When I first came through the islands in our boat, I wanted to know who named them. Why did the borderline go zigging, zagging through the river? You know, who were the first people that came here? All of those questions were questions that I kept asking and asking. And that's what, it sort of locks you in. You never want to leave once you become passionate about a place. And I'm certainly passionate about the Thousand Islands.
Vern and Don, the cottage caretakers, are also on their way to Sagastawika Island. They're heading to the boathouse that they began in April. The 2 weeks they planned for have turned into months.
We don't have a real schedule. I mean, we'll work at it until it's done. Some of the structural steel is in the wrong place, so we're having to change how we build the front end of the boathouse. So that's why we brought this lumber over today, is that we're going to modify off the plans a little bit so we can clear the problems with the steel. So
They spent the whole morning bringing wood to the island.
the heat's not a problem for us. You get used to working in the heat, and if it gets really uncomfortable, fortunately we're on the water. You can go for a swim.
But there's no time for swimming. The boathouse has to be finished this season, and there's only the two of them. The time to work on the Thousand Islands is short and limited to the summer months. Most of the money here is made through tourism. The excursion boat with Captain Riddle and his colleague on board leaves Gananoque several times a day for a tour of the Thousand Islands. 350 passengers fit on board. Depending on the length of the trip, a ticket costs between $25 and $50 per person.
How you know? What's your name?
Xavier.
Xavier.
He's my father.
Father? And your mother? They
Yeah.
speak English?
No, they're from China.
Where are you from? Where
I'm
do you
from
live?
China, but I'm an international student.
Oh, right on. Where,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Toronto?
In Montreal.
Montreal.
Oh, it's nice.
So your first trip up through here?
No, it's my second time. I think that the view is amazing, so that's why I decided to take my parents here.
Ah, good for you.
Yeah.
Riddle used to be a captain for the Coast Guard. When he retired, he managed to stay at home for a mere 2 months. Then his wife threw him out again. Since then, he's had the job with the Gananoque boat line. He spent his entire working life on the river.
There's something new every day. You can go by the same spot 100 times. I'll see it a different way every time I go by. It's just something it's the best office windows in the world. They're right up there. You know, I can't describe the feeling that you have when you're on the bridge of a ship or even on the deck of a ship in the lower ranks. It doesn't matter.
The Gananoque boat line started in 1951 with a wooden boat for 55 passengers. Today, the fleet consists of 50 triple-deck ships. There are generally 2 crew members on the bridge. Tim Brooks steers the boat. He's happy the islands are so popular.
Gananoque Boat Line in the summertime would be one of the larger employers, and in that, they employ up to 100 people depending on their needs. And so for that, get a lot of people from the town to have work. So, and tourism is pretty important for Gananoque.
2 kilometers to the south of Gananoque, in a small bay near Bostwick Island, a special service is held every Sunday during the summer. The faithful come to Half Moon Bay in their motorboats, rowing boats, canoes, or their jet skis. The people here have prayed on the water out in the open since 1878. At 4 in the afternoon, the service starts. Different faiths take turns. Today's Protestant preacher comes from the Canadian capital of Ottawa. He's Bill Finmore.
You, O Lord, be not far off. O my strength, come quickly to help me. Amen. This was the first time I gave the sermon here. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's like an outdoor cathedral. I think it's special because the creation, we're worshiping the Creator, the God who created it all. And so it's fantastic to have all of that around us here.
Surrounded by your glory, but will not I feel?
A bay, an altar, an electronic piano, a lot of kayaks and boats. That's all it takes. The collection box and songbooks are handed from boat to boat. The journalist, Susie Smith, tries to be at every ceremony.
We call Half Moon Bay the tallest cathedral ceiling in the world because you're really looking right up at the sky. It's very unique. And everybody comes in their bathing suits. You don't have to get dressed up. You have to remember a little bit of money for the collection plate, but other than that, it's very special.
The people have been gathering here for 138 years, expressing their gratitude for having got through the winter without electricity and for enjoying another summer in this island paradise. Only the two largest islands have a ferry connection to the mainland. The smallest connects Howe Island with the shore, 5 kilometers to the west of Gananoque. Operator Quinn has spent 14 years making sure that all ferry passengers are happy. He provides the personal touch. That's important in a small community. Even the dogs all get a treat every time.
One of the operators started that, and I just figured, you know what, I'll carry it on. So keep the dogs happy, I guess.
Quinn knows almost every passenger. That's no surprise because he's lived on Howe Island since his childhood. He couldn't imagine a life on the mainland, even though island life is a challenge sometimes.
It is nice living over there. It's kind of private, you know, like we don't see very many police over there unless they have to go over there, but there again, being a ferry operator, when I'm off and I want to get somewhere and the ferries are shut down, it kind of like sucks. You gotta wait.
To make sure that doesn't happen and that the ferry works smoothly, Quinn and his team give the ferry to the mainland a very thorough service every 2 weeks. The Achilles heel is the 400-meter steel cable that the ferry moves back and forth on.
Generally in the summertime, we might have the odd boat run into it, because some of the boaters, they don't realize that this is the cable, but we have signs on both sides saying cable ferry, keep clear.
Nevertheless, the boats crashed into the cable last year, fortunately without major consequences. Quinn moves the ferry back and forth more than 100 times a day. It's a dream job for him.
Oh yeah, it's like every other job. It has its days and issues, but you just gotta get, you gotta bear with it. Sometimes it's a little monotonous going back and forth all the time. So, but no, it's a good job, well paid. I've been at this job for 14 years. So I'll probably be here until I retire.
Kingston, one of Canada's oldest towns, is situated 30 kilometers further west at the exit of Lake Ontario, where the St. Lawrence River begins. Formerly a First Nations settlement, the French came here in the 17th century, and later the British, who renamed it Kingstown, Kingston, in honor to their king. In the 19th century, it was even briefly Canada's capital. In 1812, Fort Henry was built here during the war with the United States. It served to protect the trade routes and still stands as a symbol of the victory over the Americans. Standing on the highest point in the area, in a strategically favorable location, it was built to thwart American land attacks. Since 2007, the fort has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Army still marches daily here. Mark Bennett is their commander. He has spent 30 years making sure that nobody steps out of line. He trains the officers and soldiers. They're students who want to earn money for their degree during the summer months.
It is a game. It is the play that we are performing for the public. Although when you're on the parade square, I mean, health and safety is important. You must do drill the way you're taught so no one gets hurt. But there's also this performance element that we are showing the public what life was like back in 1867. And it was quite strict.
And so it's not just the performance that's important. The uniform and equipment is too. Every student has to take care of his things, often for several hours a day. Just like the real British soldiers did 150 years ago.
In 1867, a soldier would have an immaculate turnout. They lived here, they spent their time here, they would be inspected every day. It's very important that the boots and the brass are shiny because it shows the pride that you feel in the regiment that you belong to. They'll be inspected prior to the show, and those that are not shiny, it will be duly noted.
Among the 63 soldiers, there are 11 women, like 19-year-old psychology student Abby Lee Hallett.
Around here I'm called Private Hallett. We strictly use last names. So as I mentioned, I'm a private here, which means that I get yelled at quite a bit because this is my first year and there are some other people who are much higher up than I am. But I digress. I enjoy it very much, even with all of the yelling. Everybody's very kind here and it's a very prestigious job to interpret a soldier. Take it seriously.
That's important because they're considered one of the best parade troops in the world.
Early peel.
After a 2-week course, Abby Lee has been training for this every day for 2 months now. During the dress rehearsal, the officers, dressed in black, watch carefully to see that no one makes mistakes. Otherwise, they are sent to detention.
But on our training days, we do train pretty much the whole day. And then we have the parade at 2:30. And then if we do well in the parade, then we get a very relaxed afternoon. And if we do badly in the parade, then fear the afternoon because it's not going to be a good time.
And indeed, Abby Lee runs into problems. She runs out of ammunition. An officer has to come and assist. It's not a problem. She's ready for the big show tonight.
Well, I think it was one of those times where I was more excited than nervous. I don't know if that's going to change tonight. I might be a little bit nervous, but I think that helps because then if you're nervous, you want to do a good job, and that's a good thing.
During the summer months of July and August, up to 1,000 visitors attend the sunset ceremony on a Wednesday night. The show lasts an hour. In it, the soldiers reenact a fictitious battle from the year 1867, the year of Canadian independence.
The show is great. There's so much adrenaline, particularly when you're running off, when you're in your red uniform, and then it's like a mad change of 4 minutes to get up and do cannons, which is why I'm in navy blue now. I always feel nervous at the beginning, and then when you start hearing the music, you just feel pride as opposed to nervousness, and then you get really excited.
We're back on Sagastaweka Island near Gananoque. Vern and Don have finished the boathouse. It took them 12 weeks, much longer than anticipated, because there were many days they couldn't work. At up to 40 degrees, this has been the hottest summer in years. A final inspection.
Yeah, this power's all done. Panel's all done, the power's on, and it's approved, so we're good with there.
Test the boat lift, or?
Yeah, we can test the boat lift.
The other one.
Better do this one. Yeah.
The owner wants to use it to get his boats out of the water, even when the river's frozen. Everything works. They don't find any problems. The two caretakers are proud of their boathouse.
It's nice when the people who contracted us to do it are happy. That's the main thing. As long as they're happy, then we're satisfied.
Plus, just about everybody on the river or in town are talking about it. And
yeah,
so it's a spectacle that, you know, there's not one in the immediate area that matches its size and, you know, with its architecture, with the dormers and things. So it's quite a treat.
The two have found their dream job. They enjoy the diverse work out in nature, this magnificent backdrop. They mainly build boathouses like this one for the summer guests on the small islands. The situation's completely different on the largest of the 1,000 islands. Wolfe Island is 124 square kilometers and is inhabited all year round. The French called it Grande Île. The British named it after their general, James Wolfe. It's home to 1,400 people, including the Bruyn family. It's early in the morning. The two big children have to hurry. The school bus is about to arrive, which will take them to the ferry. The two go to school on the mainland in Kingston, like all the children attending high school.
Hi, Sophia. Turn around. Last time on the bus.
The ferry always restricts you a bit because you have to plan your day around it. You have to queue. You can't just leave the island as and when you please. It's not bad. You just have to adjust yourself. Sometimes it can get a bit lonely in the winter. We're often snowed in. We get a lot of snow and our nearest neighbours are really far away. Sometimes you don't see anyone for days. That's completely different in the summer. There's always a lot going on and the people are very friendly. It's lovely here. I like it a lot.
Stephanie de Bruyn moved to Canada 19 years ago for love. She always wanted to live in the country on a big farm with lots of animals. While her husband starts work in the cowshed early in the morning, the three younger siblings have time to look after the chickens before school. They go to school here on the island in Marysville. Marysville is a few kilometers from the farm in the north of the island. It's the only town on Wolfe Island. It has a supermarket and a small bakery. And a town hall. This is also where the ferry to Kingston departs. The three siblings attend the island's only public school. They're all in the same class.
Go.
22 students of different ages are taught together until year 8.
The most unique thing about Marysville Public School is the feeling of family and community. So many of the children have siblings and cousins and second cousins in their classrooms that it's like coming to school sort of as a family reunion every day. It causes children to mix and play together in ways that other schools don't. Grade 8 children play with kindergarten children, so that's very unique. It doesn't happen in other schools really very often in Ontario.
Often, all the students work together on the same subject, with varying degrees of difficulty, depending on the curriculum of that year group. The island school finishes after year 8. At that point, even the youngest of Stephanie's children will go to the high school in Kingston. They'll commute on the ferry, the vital connection to the mainland. Headmistress Jeanne Leclerc lives here. After lessons, she has time for her biggest passion, music.
I think coming down to the water, it's a great place to go get creative in your mind and think, for me, musical thoughts, and be inspired either by melodies that are in my head or things that are going on that I want to, give space and time to in order to let them percolate and emerge and see what happens musically.
The backdrop couldn't be more beautiful. Lake Ontario, the start of the St. Lawrence River.
ask me where I live, I certainly say I live on one of the largest bodies of fresh water in the entire world. So it's a big deal to live here. It influences your life. I live 3 blocks from the lake, and I love kayaking, and I love to boat around, and it's just very much a part of anybody who lives in Kingston. You're influenced by the river and the lake, and there are many countries that wish they would have a lake like this next to them.
Here at the start of the St. Lawrence, the river is particularly wide and there's a strong wind almost all year round. That's why 86 wind turbines were built here 8 years ago. It's one of Canada's largest wind farms, overseen by Mike Yablonecki.
Crews need crews over at Tower 85, crews over at Tower 85. We got a board down on 85. I'll meet you over there in about 15 minutes.
So Wolfe Island is a very special wind farm. Basically, we have 150 miles of Lake Ontario just to the west of us. So the winds build up over 150 miles and then hit Wolfe Island first thing. So this is a really great spot for wind. Great wind regime at Wolfe Island.
The power station has a capacity of almost 200 megawatts. A single turbine supplies up to 850 homes with electricity, 72,000 homes in total. To make sure it stays that way, Mike and his team constantly maintain, inspect and improve the facility. In order to be able to work on the wind turbines, they have to first block the rotor blades. Safety is the top priority, but a fear of heights is not a deal breaker.
We're all afraid of heights, but it's a healthy scare. It's good to be scared of heights. It keeps us safe. So absolutely, safety is very important for us at Wolfe Island and through TransAlta. Our gentlemen climb 80 meters up in the air, working with voltages of 690 volts AC. It's a very dangerous job. It takes a lot out of you. So our guys are very specially trained in electrical, mechanical, safety, rescue, first aid. All these things play into keeping our wind people safe.
Fortunately, there hasn't been a serious incident at the wind farm so far. After Murray's blocked the turbine, Chris climbs the 262 rungs to a height of 80 meters. That takes 10 minutes. Once at the top, he opens the cover and lowers the crane so he can get the new spare part up.
Brought your brand new I.O. box down for you guys. Hope it might help up top.
Great, thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Mike moved here from Montreal for this job. He likes it here so much that he couldn't imagine leaving again.
Okay, that's away. Looks good. I think it's paradise. I love Wolfe Island very much. I'm really happy I moved here 8 years ago. My wife and I are very happy. It's a great place to live. The people are fantastic. I've got a plot already put off to the one side here in one of the local cemeteries. I plan to live my life here and actually retire here.
Rob White shares this feeling of connectedness to the land. He grew up on Wolfe Island and lives here in the 4th generation. Sometimes he works as an engineer for the ferry, like his father and grandfather did. But his passion is for the farm and his animals. Rob White has cows that are outside all year round. Today, he's checking on the newborn calves.
They're all about a week to 2 weeks old, so they're up and they're going and they can run with their mother out in the bigger pasture, and the mom can protect them a little better from predators because we do have quite a few coyotes around, and we've had issues with them attacking the cattle before, so I keep them in the smaller pastures until they get old enough to move off with their moms more.
Rob is in the middle of his preparations for a major event that will take place in a few days' time. A roundup on his farm. It's a kind of meeting for cowboys and the highlight of the year on Wolfe Island. His son Tanner, who's 10, is also looking forward to the upcoming event.
Hey, bud.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. How's school?
Good.
Yeah.
Tanner will also take part in the roundup with his horse Bam.
Are you ready? Is Bammer ready to go?
I hope.
Yeah? So are you nervous about the roundup, Tanner?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you nervous? Do you not think you got enough practice time in?
No, I think I've got enough practice. It's just, I don't know. I'm always nervous. There's just a lot of people there.
Yeah? You get nervous riding in front of that many people?
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah?
Tanner still has time to get used to the idea that so many people will be attending. Wolfe Island tends to be quiet. The Sugarwoods experimental vineyards are in the northeast of the island. They belong to Hank Connell. According to him, every region deserves its own wine. The retired biology teacher has been experimenting with different grapes since 1999.
They can withstand temperatures down to negative 35 degrees Celsius, so there's really no problem getting through the winter. And the reason why I've chosen these is that I don't have to bury them on the ground and cover them up and then pick them back up in the spring. I mean, that's really, really important because that costs a lot of money to do that sort of thing, to pay laborers to lay it down and then bring them back up again. With these vines, you don't have to do that.
Hank wants to produce a local drink the entire island can benefit from. He regularly attends wine seminars all around the world. He's even traveled as far as Germany for research purposes. He wants to make a wine that can compete internationally.
I call myself Sugarwoods Farm Experimental Vineyards, and so far that's all we're doing right now is experimenting and trying to find out something that is going to be worthwhile getting into production. And it seems that this is going to be part of it.
At the moment, his business is still too small to get an official license for the production and sale of wine.
My friend Phil Randazzo at Coyote Moon Vineyards down in Clayton, he's right across the border. And he told me at one time, he says, just make a red and make a white. Don't worry about all the rest of the varieties. So that's working out quite well.
Hank has a very big dream.
Perhaps the wines that we'll produce here are going to be spectacular. And maybe they will be. I like this wine.
And so Hank Connell continues tirelessly with his experiments, breeding his island grapes that may make him and Wolfe Island famous beyond the 1,000 islands one day. It's a new morning on Wolfe Island. This is the home of the Connell family. Hank's son lives here with his family. They too love the island, but their children go to school in Kingston.
We wanted more socialization for the kids. Eric and I work in the city. We both go to the city. We have to go on the ferry every day anyway. I also wanted my older daughter to be pushed, not because of the academics were any different at Marysville. I wanted her to be pushed by healthy competition, and some parents don't worry about that. Eric really wanted more peers for Rowan, more girl peers. So it was hard to make a decision, but everyone was very accepting. But on Wolfe Island, it is an issue because the schools are getting smaller and smaller.
The Connells have 3 girls.
Good morning.
Hi.
Did you brush your teeth?
Oops.
Yeah.
The shared time together in the mornings is sparse. They eat breakfast on the ferry, which departs a 10-minute drive from their home. The first ferry to Kingston leaves at 5:45, and then every 30 minutes. Eric parks the car in Marysville. they walk to Kingston.
It's a little hectic, but I'm sure anybody else getting on a bus would have the same kind of rush to get them out the door, to get them on the bus. We just have to rush to get on a ferry instead, right? In the winter, it's a little bit more challenging, but I really enjoy the time with the girls. I wouldn't have it otherwise.
55 cars and 294 passengers fit on the ferry. The crossing is free and takes 20 minutes. Every day, including in winter. That's enough time for a quick breakfast and any remaining homework.
We have not missed the ferry this year.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, we have. Well, we really missed it. So we took the next one, right? But for me, I'm a little late for work when I do that. And the girls are still on time for school. So really, to get them at this hour, it's because of my work and not because of their school.
First, Eric takes the children to school. He works right on the water. Eric is the project manager for Metalcraft Marine. They build patrol boats, firefighter ships, and also vessels for the Navy. Most of them out of aluminium. Eric's pride and joy is in RIB, an inflatable boat that they want to test on Lake Ontario today.
We get hot summers, we get cold winters, we get lots of ice testing, we get lots of adversity in that effect. The wind always blows here in Kingston, so the chop that comes in is confused and steep. There's lots of conditions that you face around the world that are exactly like that.
Since the boats are first sold and only then built, the men test them extensively before delivering them to their customers.
We try to have at least 20 hours on the boats of on-water testing, and we try and use them as hard as possible.
That means racing across Lake Ontario with at least 52 knots in an RIB today. The big day has arrived on Wolfe Island. The roundup has begun. Cowboys from all over North America have come to Wolfe Island for a weekend to participate in the big cattle roundup on White Lane Farm.
What it's based on is the ranchers. So out west there's huge ranches where they have like 10,000 and 20,000 cattle, and they would go in pens like this and they'd be sorting out cows to put them in the right groups. And where it originated from is the ranchers all decided they would get together and see which ranch had the best guys that sort. I gotta go. That sort, and this is where it originated from.
Rob White.
I gotta go, sorry.
And Ashley Meeks. Flags up.
Hey!
The calves they're chasing all come from White Lane Farm. It's the third time the roundup is taking place on Wolfe Island. The competition has 75 participants. It's all been organized by Rob's wife, Erin White.
Trash has no time there, but doing good.
It's grown every year. This is our third year, and the prize money has increased. The amount of people that come to ride have increased, and I think too we treat everybody that comes pretty well, and yeah, it's about everybody having fun and enjoying themselves.
The young cows are doing well too. The rules of the competition are simple. Every cow is given a number before it's sent to the ring with the others. Three cows with the same number have to be isolated from the herd. The cowboys have exactly 1 minute to achieve that. They work in teams of 2. One chases the cows, the other makes sure that none of the wrong ones get in. If that happens, they lose the round.
Nicely done.
Then it's Tanner's turn. The 10-year-old gets ready.
My hands.
Here you go.
Tanner will compete with the adults, but first he has to build up his courage.
You didn't brush them out either, did you?
Cow back into place.
You excited? Yeah? Nervous?
Yes.
Nervous? Just go in like it was a Sunday practice day. We just go in and practice. Don't rush it. You got to get, actually with these cows you've been watching, eh?
No. Well, I've been watching, but yeah.
You can't push them. They'll all come to the gate at once.
I won't be able to remember that.
He's doing good. I think he's a little nervous. He's nervous to go in, but I do too. My first runs, or even now, I get in there, I'm nervous. It's exciting. It gets the adrenaline going.
Right now, Tanner White and Amy Ranger. 999. Go get him. Tough break there. No time for Amy and Tanner. Team number 15.
His performance only lasted seconds. Tanner's actually much better than this. But more important than victory today is that something's happening on the island. The competition lasts until late at night. And Tanner is just dancing his frustration away. He'll get another chance next year.